Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hey guys, so in this video, Alvin and I will be giving you our bipartisan takes on the current state of the New Jersey governor elections. So yeah.
Yeah. So right now I have up the 2021 results, and Phil Murphy barely snuck it out against Jack Ciattarelli in 2021, and that meant that a lot of people, even back in 2021, thought that 2025 could start to get competitive. And we saw a continuing trend in
hmm
2024 where even in a nationalized race, Kamala Harris could not even win the state by 6 points, and people if the trends with the Hispanics and a lot of things thought people were thinking, look, Republicans have a real shot. And now we're sort of getting down to the final months. The general election is soon, but the primaries are even sooner. So we're going to first analyze the Democratic primary. We'll talk a little bit about the Republicans, although they're a little more simple, actually a lot more simple. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about the general election as a whole.
Yeah, so I guess we'll open up with the Democratic primary here, and it's been
Yeah.
very chaotic and crazy. There's like I think there's six major candidates in the race currently, and or like five or six, I believe, and they all have like some sort of like major endorsements behind them. And yeah, I guess we'll kind of go into each one. Um, the thing that's so interesting about the Democratic primary here is that kind of each candidate really has their own kind of base. Like of the New Jersey electorate. So you can see in kind of polls, it's all over the place. Like all the candidates are getting like very low poll numbers because all the vote is split between all these different candidates. So I guess we'll kind of just work our way through them one at a time. So I guess yeah, starting from the top, there's Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark. So he's the mayor of the largest city in New Jersey. He's running as a progressive. So yeah, he like ha having that mayorship of the largest city is obviously beneficial because you get a decent chunk of the electorate right there, right off the bat, and he secured endorsements from various representatives representing that Newark sort of area, um, and yeah, he's definitely running in that sort of like progressive sort of lane there. He's in competition though with another mayor, also running as progressive, Mayor Steve Fulop, from Jersey City, New Jersey, the second largest city. And he's running his own sort of operation, which is quite interesting, where he's kind of forging alliances with various like progressive um, and other candidates across the state of New Jersey, like running for state legislative seats and trying to like form this kind of New Jersey wide network of progressives. And he's definitely trying to appeal to that like kind of Andy Kim sort of group of Democrats in the state, um, trying to run against the New Jersey sort of like political machines there. His campaign is quite interesting because I would say his is probably with the one with the most momentum now in terms of like poll gains. Um, but yeah, so that's also quite interesting. Do you want to talk about the next two candidates?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just a little comment about Steve Fulop and Ross Baraka. I would say that Steve Fulop is getting a lot of momentum from the younger base and also from people, Democrats that are very highly engaged with the election are starting to flock towards
Yes.
Fulop. Um, I mean, I go to college in New Jersey, and there's a lot of momentum behind Fulop at a lot of college campuses. I mean, you can see also college Dems of New Jersey endorse Fulop, and there's a bit of an energy, I would say, on college campus for Fulop. Um, Ross Baraka is getting a lot more of the older progressives, I would say, and so there's that's kind of a divide. We're gonna see who can turn out their base more. It's sort of gonna be more of a turnout operation than anything at this point. Josh Gottheimer and also sort of Mikey Sherrill here. These are the two representatives running in that people from the House of Representatives, and they also, interestingly enough, I mean, we can go over here. Josh Gottheimer has a ton of money backing him, and I'm starting to see a lot of ads for him more than anyone else. So,
Mm,
personally, and they are sort of more running in a standard Democrat slash moderate lane. I mean, they do
Yeah.
come from the House. Gottheimer very much so running in that moderate lane. You can see, for example, he has like people like Jared Golden endorsing him, famous moderate. And he has a bit of the backing of, like the North and the Northwest, where, he used to represent. We can take a look at um, your map here, where four is sort of District 4 is where Gottheimer used to represent, and one is where Mikey Sherrill used to represent. So this is sort of the northern northwestern part of the state. And yeah, sort of same thing with Mikey Sherrill. Mikey Sherrill is getting a lot of these, standard Democrats, like a lot of U.S. representatives that are just sort of standard backbenchers, starting to support her. She's got a lot of these, Democratic counties
Hmm.
endorsing her and things like that nature. Very standard Democrat lane, like I've been saying, and that sort of helped her. We can take a look at the polling. I think it's the best time to introduce the polling because Mikey Sherrill has been doing the best in the polling since the beginning and throughout. You did mention
Yep.
Steve Bullup's been gaining a bit of momentum, but it's only a little bit, right? It's a few percent. It's not enough to catch Mikey Sherrill. And Josh Gottheimer has also seen his name rise slowly into the double digits, probably due to his spending here. And
Yeah.
his most famous ad right now is that he will lower property taxes by
Hmm.
15%. Big promises. We'll see if he delivers. But yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I definitely would like to say also, yeah, it is pretty clear that Mikey Sherrill does have that polling lead right now. And she did slice out like her area of the electorate is pretty significant. Like both obviously she has her congressional district, which is kind of those North Jersey suburbs. But not only that, she has the backing of the North Jersey machine, which is based in Hudson County, is also backing her for governor. So she has some, establishment support there in that form. Now, going to the next two candidates here, we have Sean Spiller and Stephen Sweeney. So these two candidates are known a little, probably the least of the six. Sean Spiller is a former mayor of Montclair. He's currently the leader, the president of the New Jersey Teachers Union. So basically, I know I saw ads for his campaign the earliest. Basically, what's been happening is he's basically like the union is like bankrolling his entire campaign, the union that he is the president of. So he's getting millions and millions of dollars from these teachers union dues and spending them on his campaign. I don't know, little shady in that respect, but yeah,
It's
generally
kind of working though.
he's generally running as a generic Democrat, and yeah, you can see it working. Like he started at like 2%, not even considered in polls, and now he's like kind of creeping up. Just in terms of name recognition, I would say that's primarily driving it up. I would think because yeah, like he's been pumping out ads like the earliest of any candidate. I recall when Harris was running for president in 2024, he would send out ads with him like advertisements with him on the same sort of like pamphlet as Kamala Harris, saying, "I'm with her" and stuff. So yeah, I think that got slightly helped his name recognition there. And then Stephen Sweeney here is the former president of the New Jersey Senate. He's the only one of these Democrats from South Jersey, so he's basically locked up the South Jersey machine in that respect. Yeah, you can see his district, his former district down there. But something to note about him and some flaws, is like he's a more moderate, conservative-ish Democrat. There's that. But also the fact that he lost his election in 2021 to basically a nobody, a Republican named Ed Durr, who basically unseated him, which, is a bit of an upset because he's the president of the New Jersey Senate, losing to a truck driver with no name recognition and no ad spending before.
Yeah, he had like
So
$50 or something, right? So
so yeah, but yeah, he's got a lot of South Jersey endorsements. He basically has South Jersey to himself, which you think is a pretty big benefit for him running in this election. But despite that, it seems like in polling at least his name recognition is pretty low, and like he's not getting too high poll numbers. I think he might be the lowest of any candidate despite that. So yeah, that's kind of the state of it right now.
yeah, I agree. Sean Spiller, I just want to highlight that the teachers union, specifically in New Jersey, is very strong, and that's due to the fact that New Jersey is such a dense state with a high focus on education. And there are approximately 120,000 teachers. So in public schools. So that's
Hmm.
his backing. And if you think about how many people vote, I mean, obviously Phil Murphy was handed the primary in 2021, but only 300,000 people voted in the 2021 primary. And Sean Spiller, if you get 100,000 teachers to show up and their spouses, that's 200,000 votes, right? So you have to think about how he has the backing of the teachers union. That is so many people in the state of New Jersey, and that is sort of what's keeping him afloat and, still in the race, right? He's only a few, he's only 1% from being second. And um that's good for him. Steve Sweeney is definitely in last right now. However, he might be underestimated, honestly, because he- looking at the map, right, he's so divorced from the rest of the candidates from North Jersey. And if a lot of these people in the South just turn out for him, that could be good. His name has been marred by, being corrupt, being machine, whatever. But at the end of the day, he still has a lot of backing in the South. And we could see him make an unexpected surge. But uh, either way, people really expect Mikey Sherrill to run away with it, and they have been, honestly, for a very long time. But if you look here, Fulop's been making a rise he's been making a rise in the betting markets, making a rise in the polls. Josh Gottheimer, who was seen as the second place challenger,
Yeah.
being at the other rep, has sort of faded. His moderate lane is just not really energizing for a primary audience. You being moderate in a primary just isn't great for you. You generally want to be standard or more on the extreme side, whether being a Democrat or Republican. But as we transition to the Republican side, this is not going to be the case because when you go into the Republican side, you will see that Jack Ciattarelli, who ran in 2021, is sort of running away with it in the polls. And that's despite him being more of a moderate compared to Bill Spadia, who's his main competition. There is John Bramnick, who is definitely the most moderate one in the race.
Hmm.
However, Jack Ciattarelli is definitely seen as more to the left than Bill Spadia, and that's his main um,
Opponent. Yeah.
his main opponent now. I mean, I will say that most Jack Chiarelli ads right now are sort of blasting Bill Spadia as actually too liberal, right? He's sort of bringing up Bill Spadia clips from like 2016 or whatever, saying where Bill Spadia is saying like we should give amnesty to migrants, whatever, and he's trying to run from the right, which kind of how you have to win a primary. But regardless, he is sort of in that standard lane that like a Mikey Sherrill's in on the Democrat side, so he's gonna sort of take the Republican. I don't even know if we need to spend much time analyzing the Republican primary. I mean, he got very close in 2021. Republicans want to see him give it another shot and they're willing to give him the primary backing, it seems like. I mean, very low chance that he loses. I don't even know if you need to say anything, but I'll give you the floor right here on the Republican primary.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much covered it. I mean, like John Bramnick is probably the most moderate Republican running, um, but he pretty much has no shot of winning the primary, with his small slice of votes he's getting from his district in Morris County. The real contenders here are Jack Ciattarelli, who was the nominee last time and almost beat Phil Murphy, the incumbent Democratic governor, and Bill Spadilla, who's a radio host running to his right as a more MAGA candidate, and someone who was campaigning with Trump previously when he was back when he was campaigning in New Jersey in 2024. Yeah, like generally, I would expect Ciattarelli to win just because he won last time. He kind of has that Republican apparatus up and running for him again. Um, Bill Spadilla does have his a path though. If he somehow gets a Trump endorsement in the last month, maybe he can bring it back. But I'm starting to think there's like a month left before the primary, and I'm starting to think even with a Trump endorsement, it might not be enough for Spadilla to win here because I think Ciattarelli just has the again like that kind of apparatus running already. His poll numbers are already at like 50%. Um, and I think once you have any sort of New Jersey political machine cranking for you, it's hard to stop it. Like I think Trump similarly tried to endorse a Senate candidate in 2024, and his pick for the Senate candidate in New Jersey lost again when he came in with a late endorsement. So I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much Shitterell is locked in here if I
Yeah.
had to
New Jersey
guess.
voters are generally more resistant to endorsements and sort of things like that than a lot of other voters in many other states. And I think mainly because of the high engagement and things like that. And that's sort of part of it. But realistically, look, turning to the general election, I mean, also these are the betting markets for the Republican nominee, sort of what
Hmm.
we've been saying. 85-15 is about right, I would say. But turning our heads to the general election, I mean, I did preface this by saying it got close the last two times New Jersey, held a general election. However, this time I'm starting to think opposite. I mean, this wasn't a bad Biden economy, right? The reason why Jack Shirelli got so close is because inflation was starting to get interesting. Actually, late 2021 was where, people were starting to feel it,
Yeah.
things were starting to happen and people were souring on Biden. This was a few months post Afghanistan disaster, and people just started to really dislike Biden. His approval is down in the gutter, and the race kind of got nationalized. This was before Dobbs, so there was no energy from the Democrats just yet. Republicans were hyped about this election, even though no one really thought they would win it. They were able to win in Virginia, and so they got close here. And I'm starting to think that the opposite's going to happen because we're starting to be in a Trump residency where the economy has just contracted for one quarter. We're going to see the next report
Yeah.
for the general. And if it contracts again, we are in a recession. No matter how we want to spin recession, as you guys try to spin that last time, but I don't spin recession definitions. Regardless, Trump's approval, it's getting worse every video we do, okay? A few videos ago, he was still holding steady, sort of at -4.
Yeah.
Now we're at -7. In a month, we could be at -10 because I can't lie, it's sort of the approval rating is kind of getting held up by Rasmussen and RMG right now. Once these polls disappear from the aggregate, we could be in -8 territory very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty clear that Trump is getting more and more unpopular by the day. Especially like I think he probably would have been fine with just like the administrative chaos in terms of like running the federal government, running around cutting aid agencies and stuff. But yeah, once he started tanking the stock market and
People care about the
threatening the
economy more
economy
than
in general,
everything.
yeah, like that's what the moderates care about. So that's where it's gonna hurt him for sure. But yeah, like I'm thinking at this rate, I'm thinking like even with New Jersey's massive shifts, like when you look at New Jersey between 2020 and 2024, you see like a 10-point shift right to the Republicans. But even with that, I think in an off-year election, so this year, 2025, with a bad Trump economy, I think it's definitely gonna come back and recover a little. I think I think the Democrats, but pretty much with any candidate they run here, I think they'll win. Even against the best Republican candidate, which is probably Ciattarelli here. I can't really see Republicans winning this. Um, in terms of a margin, I'm not really sure yet because there's been no head-to-head polling between Democrats or testing Democrats and Republicans in New Jersey yet. So like we don't even really have like any estimates. Yeah, like as you see down there, some of the prediction organizations like Cook and stuff say it's like lean Democrat, but again, they're operating on no polling data here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would probably say maybe likely D to start, but I could easily see this getting back into like double digits for the Democrats in a
Yeah,
traditionally blue state.
I can see that for sure. We're looking at a sort of an environment here that's getting more and more unfriendly to Republicans. And I think the reason that there are no head-to-head polls is because no pollster wants to poll 6 times. They don't want to say, "Oh, Ross Baraka versus
Yeah.
Sherrod." No one wants to go through 6 names. People are gonna hang up the phone. So I think that's personally why they're just focusing on the primary. Like, we don't want to do all that, and that's kind of fair. But yeah, I mean, let's go back to 2017. First Trump New Jersey election. Oops. I mean, to be fair, Kim Guadagno was not the best candidate, but she was the lieutenant governor. However, of course, Chris Christie was very unpopular at the time. Still, Phil Murphy slapped her basically in this race by 15 points. I don't think it's going to get that bad, especially because New Jersey's been
Yeah,
moving
probably
to the
not.
right. Maybe 8 point right now. I would say maybe if it's Mikey Sherrill, maybe we move that up to 10. Honestly,
Yeah.
if
I
it's
think
someone more progressive like a Steve Fulop, maybe an 8 point win. Yeah, I'm sort of in that range right now.
Yeah, actually, I would agree with you here. I think but yeah, the most likely scenario I think is probably Cheryl versus Schitterelli. And I think yeah, that's probably a 10-point Democratic win. I think electorally, Cheryl's probably the best Democratic candidate. Um, and the worst might be like I don't know. I feel like it could be like Spiller.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm thinking Spiller or Sweeney. Probably Spiller though.
yeah. Um, But yeah, I think generally, in the most likely scenario, in a Cheryl versus Shitterelli, I think it's double digits for the Democrats. Yeah.
Yep. So that's sort of about it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like on this video down below. Comment down below for any future video suggestions. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video so you don't miss our future videos. And thanks for watching, guys. Share this video with your family and friends.
See you guys.